Who would shove a blind woman into a thorn bush just to prove a point? That's exactly what I saw when I turned the corner in a quiet Arizona suburb, my combat boots still dusty from Afghanistan, my heart pounding as I watched my sister, Lily, tumble backward, her guide dog barking in panic. The woman standing over her, smug as sin, had no idea I was 20 yards away, still in full Army Ranger gear, witnessing her cruelty. This is the story of how an HOA dictator learned a lesson she'd never forget, and how one ugly moment sparked a community's fight for justice. My name's Captain Ethan Caldwell, and 3 months ago, my little sister Lily moved to Sunnyvale Estates, a tidy planned community in Arizona. Lily, who lost her sight in a car wreck 5 years back, had clawed her way to independence, teaching violin at a local school and navigating life with her guide dog, Jasper, a loyal golden retriever with eyes that could melt your heart. Sunnyvale seemed perfect: flat homes, wide sidewalks, close to her job. But what Lily didn't bargain for was Margaret Hensley, the HOA president who ruled the place like her personal fiefdom. Margaret, a retired corporate lawyer, wore crisp blazers to check her mailbox, kept her silver bob haircut sharp as a blade, and never stepped out without her signature gold brooch, like she was always ready to argue a case. Neighbors whispered about her like she was a storm you just had to weather. Violations were treated like felonies, and her word was law. Lily tried to keep it light when we'd VY-Deo chat during my deployment. "She's just a stickler for rules," she'd say, her voice doing that thing it did since we were kids, pretending everything was fine when it wasn't. But I knew better. The trouble started the day Lily moved in. Margaret sent notices about unauthorized paw prints on the sidewalk. Lily called to explain Jasper was a certified guide dog, protected by the Americans with Disabilities Act. Margaret's response? "Our rules don't make exceptions for animals. Maybe this isn't the right community for you." It didn't stop there. Jasper's water bowl was an unapproved fixture. The faint path Lily wore in the grass practicing routes with Jasper was property damage. The textured doormat that helped Lily find her door? Aesthetic noncompliance. Lily, ever the peacemaker, tried reasoning with her, offering to meet with her mobility trainer or speak at an HOA meeting. Margaret shut her down every time. What Lily didn't tell me she hid to keep me from worrying halfway across the world was how Margaret's nitpicking turned into a personal crusade. I only found out through Mrs. Rosa Martinez, a neighbor who emailed me at my forward operating base. "Your sister's too kind to say it, Captain," she wrote. "But this woman follows Lily with her phone, filming her, calling it EVY Denke. Last week, she cut the sprinklers when Lily passed by to throw her off. It's cruel." That email burned in my mind as my tour wound down. I'd faced worse threats than Margaret Hensley, but none made my blood boil like this suburban bully targeting my sister. I promised myself I'd check things out when I got home, but Lily wouldn't want me charging in like a one-man army. So I kept quiet. When my unit rotated back, I decided to surprise Lily. I flew into Phoenix straight from the airfield, still in my combat uniform, rucksack slung over my shoulder. Mrs. Martinez met me at Lily's empty house and tipped me off that Lily might be walking Jasper by the neighborhood pond. "Be careful, Captain," she warned, her eyes worried. "That HOA woman's been tailing your sister today. Yesterday, she threatened to call animal control because Jasper shook water on her precious sidewalk after it rained." I thanked her and headed out, striding through Sunnyvale's cookie-cutter streets, beige houses, identical cacti, mailboxes lined up like soldiers. The only hint of life was a kid's stray red ball in a driveway, and I'd bet Margaret had already written it up. I was itching to see Lily. It had been 14 months since I'd hugged her. We'd always been tight, even more after our parents died in a car crash 7 years ago, Leah VYing me at 25 and Lily at 20. Her blindness 2 years later only made us closer, though she fought hard to stand on her own. As I neared the pond, I heard Jasper's bark, not his usual friendly woof, but the sharp alert he was trained to give when Lily was in trouble. My gut twisted. I rounded the corner and saw it, Margaret, in a tailored green suit, jabbing her finger at Jasper, who'd stopped at a corner like he was supposed to. Lily, clutching her white cane, was trying to explain, her voice calm but firm. He's trained to pause at intersections. We're not on your lawn, ma'am. Don't ma'am me, Margaret snapped, stepping closer, her gold brooch glinting in the sun. That dog's been tracking mud on my corner lot for weeks. I have it on video. She waved her phone like a weapon, her French manicured nails catching the light. Lily stayed composed, her dark hair neat in a ponytail, her yellow dress bright against the dull street. At 27, she had a quiet strength, but I could see her tense her jaw tight, her grip on her cane whitening her knuckles. If we've stepped on your grass, I'm sorry, Lily said. Jasper's trained to stick to sidewalks. I don't want apologies, Margaret hissed, closing the gap, crowding Lily in a way that felt threatening, especially to someone who couldn't see it coming. Control that animal, or I'll have it gone. Lily stepped back, disoriented, and that's when Margaret lost it. She grabbed Lily's shoulders and shoved her hard. Lily stumbled, her cane snapping against the sidewalk as she fell into a rose bush, thorns snagging her dress and skin. Jasper lunged, barking wildly, his harness straining. The crack of Lily's cane, her lifeline hitting the ground, echoed in my ears. Margaret stood there, smug, adjusting her brooch like she just won a prize. Now you're trespassing, she declared, as if Lily's pain was her Tory. Two neighbors across the street gaped, frozen. Lily struggled in the bush, her face twisting in confusion and hurt, blood beading on her scratched arms. I was MOVYing before I knew it, 14 months of combat instincts kicking in. The weight of my rucksack vanished as I closed the distance. Jasper, come, I called, my voice sharp but steady. The dog hesitated, then obeyed, whining for Lily. Margaret turned, and her smugness faltered when she saw methyl camo, ranger tab, captain's bars, boots gritty with desert dust. My face, I knew, carried the calm intensity that made enemies rethink their choices. Step away from my sister, I said, not loud, but with the kind of clarity that cuts through noise. Rangers don't yell, we command. Margaret's jaw dropped, but she rallied, her lawyer brain kicking in. This woman's dog has violat HOA rules repeatedly. She's ignored warnings. Step away, I repeated, brushing past her to kneel by the bush. Lily, it's Ethan. I've got you. Her voice broke with relief. Ethan? You're home? Surprise, I said softly, guiding her out, careful of the thorns. Her arms were scratched, her dress torn, a cut on her cheek making my stomach churn. Watch your right side, big branch. Jasper pressed against her, steady despite his worry. The broken cane lay in pieces, each fragment a punch to my gut. I turned to Margaret, who'd backed off but was already straightening her blazer, ready to argue. As I was saying, there've been violations, ma'am. I cut in. You just assaulted a disabled person. That's a felony in Arizona. Her face paled, but she doubled down. She was trespassing. I protected my property. I pulled out my phone, showing the video I'd started recording when I saw the shove. This shows you pushing her unprovoked. Margaret's eyes flicked to the screen, then away. That won't hold up. She's violat HOA. I'm not here for your rules, I said, stepping closer. I'm talking Arizona Review. I said Statute 13-1204, aggravated assault on a disabled person. 5 to 15 years. Neighbors were gathering now, some filming, others whispering. Mr. Harold Grayson, a retired judge from down the street, approached, his face grim. Margaret's voice wavered. You're not a cop. No, ma'am. Captain Ethan Caldwell, U.S. Army Rangers. Former paralegal with the Judge Advocate General's Corps. I know the law, especially disability rights. I lowered my voice, just for her. The ABA bans discrimination against service dog users and HOAs. You knew that, as an ex-lawyer. This wasn't a mistake. It was harassment. Her eyes darted to the crowd, realizing no one was on her side. I've just enforced the rules everyone signed. She tried, but it sounded hollow. Rules that break federal law. Mr. Grayson cut in, standing beside us. I've told the board your policies wouldn't hold up, Margaret. You don't get to assault people. Sirens wailed in the distance. Someone had called the cops. I helped Lily to a bench, checking her scratches, reuniting her with Jasper. I'm sorry, Ethan, she whispered, her hands shaking. I didn't want your homecoming like this. Don't you dare apologize, I said, swallowing my rage. This is on her. The police arrived, led by Officer Carlo Ortiz, who took charge with calm efficiency. Lily recounted the incident, her voice steady, every word precise. I showed Ortiz my video. 3 neighbors offered more misses. Lou's doorbell cam, Mr. Patel's phone footage, Mrs. Martinez's clip of Margaret's smug, trespassing, claim. Ortiz turned to Margaret, who was spinning her story to the second officer. The videos tell a different story, ma'am. Did you know Miss Caldwell is legally blind? Margaret scoffed. She claims she is, but she gets around fine when it suits her. The crowd gasped. Even the second officer flinched. Hands behind your back, Ortiz said. You're under arrest for aggravated assault. Margaret sputtered. I'm the HOA president. But Ortiz cuffed her, reading her rights as they walked her to the cruiser. The neighborhood exhaled. Mrs. Lou brought a chair for Lily. Mrs. Martinez cleaned her scratches. Mr. Grayson called an emergency HOA meeting. Paramedics checked Lily, bandaging her wounds, urging rest. As we walked home, Lily leaning on my arm, neighbors flanked us, a quiet show of support. The fallout was swift. The videos spread, hitting local news. Margaret was bailed out but ousted as president, with Mr. Grayson taking over. The HOA apologized to Lily, promising ADA compliance. Neighbors raised funds for a high-tech cane with GPS. A guide dog group held a seminar, packed with residents. Margaret's legal woes mounted. The prosecutor, fierce on disability rights, pushed the assault charge. Videos left her no defense. She took a plea community service at a blindness rehab center, hefty restitution, a restraining order, and an ADA course. The judge's parting shot? Next time, think before you ignore federal law. She sold her house and fled to an HOA-free condo, her reign over. Lily thrived, joining an accessibility committee, teaching violin to a neighbor's kid, judging a talent show. We started a neighborhood watch for vulnerable residents, dubbed Operation Unity. On my last night before returning to base, Lily and I sat on her patio, Jasper at her feet, desert air cool. Weirdly, Margaret did me a favor, Lily said, sipping tea. How's that? I asked. Before this, I was just the blind lady with the dog. Now I'm part of this place. I grinned. You're the philosopher, I'm the protector. She found my hand. Some things don't change. To change for the better. I toasted, watching the sunset blaze. A bully thought she could exploit weakness, but she didn't count on a community's strength or a brother who'd walk through fire for his sister.